How's everybody doing? I'm going to try and share my screen here. Just let me know. Is everybody with me? Can everybody see that?
Yes, I can see it.
Yes.
Yes. So good morning, everyone. I want you to drop in the chat where you're dialing in from here. Where's everybody coming in from here today to spend some time with us? Oklahoma, Florida, California, South Carolina, two Colombians, Alexandra, Virginia. Woo, welcome. Columbus, Mississippi, Germany. Oh my gosh, thank you. Germany, Columbus, Mississippi. Good to have everybody here. So happy that you guys have taken your Saturday morning to spend a little time with us. We really appreciate it. If you can't, Texas, welcome from Texas. So if you can, I want you guys to turn your cameras on. We're going to be interactive, engage with everyone because I really want to challenge you all today to get what you came from. So if you're ready to get what you came from, just go ahead and type in the chat, get what you came for. Get what you came for. Somebody tell me, are you going to get what you came for today? Thank you. Get what you came for. Get what you came for. Yes. Yes. So I'm going to go ahead, everyone, and drop the link to the workbook for you. So you'll have the link to the workbook. We're going to drop that in the chat. So you have the link to the workbook here. Once you have that and you can open your workbook, let me know. Just let me know in the chat. Got it. It's okay. I heard work multitasking, getting yourself together. Okay, everybody got it? Does everybody else have the workbook? Say got it. Okay, good. So now that we're in, everybody has the workbook. I really want to welcome you all to the virtual Federal Women Empowerment Summit Beyond the Badge. So today, what we're really talking about is pivoting without a parachute. And ladies, I'm probably like most of you, I used to think like pivoting meant having everything perfectly lined up before you make a move, like having just a clear plan, a step-by-step strategy, like a guaranteed landing. But as you know, life doesn't always serve us that way. Sometimes you like pushed out of the plane before you're ready. And that's exactly what's happening with us right now in the federal government. That's exactly what's happening with a lot of federal leaders. Budget cuts are happening, reconstructing is happening, all these policy shifts. We've all seen all these EOs that have come out, just people, unexpected retirements. You wasn't ready to retire until later. All of these things are happening. And I know it feels like a free fall. And if you've ever felt like you're like standing on the edge and you're waiting, you're not sure what's going to happen next, I want you to know that you really are the parachute. You really are the parachute. All of your years of experience, leadership, problem solving, hard work, that's all going to keep you from crashing. You know, I had to learn this like the hard way. Like I thought if I just worked harder, stayed longer, played by the rules, everything would work out. But the truth is sometimes staying where it's safe really isn't always safe. So when I finally, I let go of that idea that I needed a perfect plan before I moved. And everything changed once I kind of did that. You know, I started to trust my own expertise. I started to stop waiting for permission. When I realized I had everything I needed to land on my feet and then some. And now I help others do the same. So I'm saying to you all, pivoting without a parachute, it really isn't about the fall, it's how you take control mid-air. Because when you do, you don't just fall, you soar. You soar. So if you've been waiting and you're ready and you've been second guessing yourself, and to build in the future you actually want, I want you to put in the chat, I'm gonna soar. I'm gonna soar. I'm gonna soar. Put that in the chat. I'm gonna soar. I'm gonna land this next chapter on my own terms. Yes, somebody move your cheese. But you got this, sis. Yes, somebody move your cheese, but you got this, sis. You are going to land on your feet and you're going to soar and you're going to break your crash. So, for those of you who don't know me, little bit about me. Some of you I know, some of you don't know me. I'm Daisy Jones Brown, and I'm a retired Air Force veteran. I'm also a federal leader and an entrepreneur. And like many of you, I started really small. I used to sell Mary Kay, and I used to sell those candles in the BX. Y'all know what the BX is, right? I used to sell those candles in the BX. And then eventually I had this like really bad salon experience, y'all. I had no hair. Let me tell you, I had a chemical burns, everything. I became that scientist and I created this wellness product for hair. And it worked so well for me that other people wanted to buy it. I didn't know what I was doing, y'all, but I started selling it anyway, selling out the trunk. You know how it goes, right? So I started selling my product and I had no idea how to market this product. But I was just going along and I was doing the thing, but and you know, just stepping out on faith really. But eventually, I came back around to the thing that I actually love, that I've been doing forever, and that I realized was actually my gift, and that was coaching. But I had this little thing, I had this shiny object syndrome. I like to go from thing to thing to thing to thing. And when you go from thing to thing to thing, you just sometimes waste a lot of time, waste a lot of money, you know. And so, what really kind of got and pushed me out of that from going to thing is actually hiring my first business coach. Guess what? Every coach needs a coach. And so that was the thing that got me on track, got me where I needed to be so I can start actually building what I wanted in my second half. But you know, I had spent 15 years or so in the federal government, sort of in the same workspace, same, doing the same thing. I was comfortable, I was established, I was respected. At least I thought I was respected. Uh, but something in me just kept saying, you know, you got to do more. You got to do more. And believe it or not, ladies, it was actually during COVID that I realized for the first time that you could work differently. And probably some of you did too. Like the first time we could actually work remotely, work from home. And I loved it. And I was like, okay, I want more of that. So when it was time to like go back to work, I was like, oh, how could I do that thing where I still work from home? And so the problem was I was over 50 and menopausal. Y'all know what I'm talking about. So I felt terrified to try to switch careers over 50 years old, right? So I didn't think I was marketable. I didn't think anyone would want to rehire me, but I started putting myself out there with other federal agencies. And guess what? I started getting interviews. I started to see that my skills were valuable. And then eventually I landed another job. And the beautiful thing is, I actually got a promotion with it. I was scared, but I did it. And I keep saying, I was terrified, but I did it. And so it's a theme there is that even though sometimes we have fear, we have to like lean in and do it anyways. So, I had become comfortable where I was. I was doing fine, but then I stepped out on faith. But you know what that experience also taught me? If I could reinvent myself at work over the age of 50, I can reinvent myself anywhere over the age of 50, right? And that's when I realized that I didn't have to wait for retirement to really just bet on myself, do my own thing. Um, and I started back into entrepreneurship at that point. And so all I'm saying to you is that if I can do it, you can do it. I don't care where you are, what you're doing in your life right now, you can do it. So if this is a sign for you and fear's kind of been holding you back, I want you to put in the chat, I'm ready, I'm ready, I'm ready. If you're ready, put in the chat, I'm ready, guys. I'm ready. I want to see that y'all ready before we. Yes, thank you. I want to see. Thank you. You guys are ready. You're ready. You're ready. You're ready. I love it. All right. So again, right before we get started, I want to make sure, does everybody have the workbook? If you don't have the workbook, let me know you don't have the workbook. And we're going to get started, ladies. I have this amazing lineup for you. Amazing lineup for you. Everybody ready to hear from these amazing ladies? You ready to hear from these amazing ladies? I have this amazing lineup for you, and they're going to be dropping all kind of gems for you. They're going to be telling you some amazing things of how they transition and what they had to do to make all of this work for themselves. And so I want you to get your pen and paper ready. I want you to write those questions down as we're going along. I really want you to what? I really want you to what? I don't see anybody saying it. I really want you to do what? Soar, yes, and get what you came for. And get what you came for. Thank you. Thank you. So I'm going to introduce our first lady of the hour. Yes, I'm going to stop sharing this. All right.
So you mean put it up after you finish the bio?
Mm-hmm. So I'm going to introduce our first lady of the hour, Dr. Rita Felton. Dr. Felton, PhD, is a biblical counselor, leadership strategist, and serial entrepreneur dedicated to empowering faith-driven leaders for kingdom impact. A Maxwell Leadership Team Executive Director and DISC behavioral consultant. She has studied executive leadership at UNC Kagan Flagler Business School, the Center for Creative Leadership, and more. As a serial entrepreneur, Dr. Felton has founded 5 businesses, y'all, including innovative SaaS companies that streamline operations for organizations. She's a published author and inspirational speaker. She has co-authored the Amazon bestseller, The Women We Watch, and actively served as a chaplain, Hire Heroes mentor, and civil service commissioner. With 30 years of military experience as a retired Air Force command chief, Dr. Felton brings unparalleled leadership expertise, discipline, and a passion for helping others step into their full potential. She's guided by her heartfelt motto, do for one what you want to do for all. Dr. Felton continues to ignite transformative. You all welcome Dr. Rita Felton to the stage. Hello, Dr. Felton.
Yes. Hello, good morning. Thank you so much, Daisy, for that warm introduction. And so it's truly an honor to be here among such powerful, purpose-driven women today. This is such a warm place to be. And so as someone who spent over 30 years in the federal service, I come to realize that leadership isn't just about what you do, it's about who you become. And so I'm excited among the rest of the panel to share a little bit about my journey, my lessons that I've learned, and how stepping out in faith has allowed me to step fully into my purpose. So I'm ready to dive in. Thank you, Daisy.
Thank you. Thank you. Welcome, Dr. Felton. So our second speaker on our panel is Dr. Tiffany Mims. She's a licensed clinical psychologist, certified life and executive coach, and founder of the Rosetta Center for Counseling and Wellness in Sacramento, California. With over 20 years of experience, she specializes in mental health, trauma, and the well-being of Black women. Through therapy, coaching, and consulting, she helps high-achieving women of color navigate work-life balance, burnout, and career transitions. A sought-after speaker, she delivers dynamic presentations on mental health, self-care, and diversity. Originally from Southern California, Dr. Mims now lives in Sacramento with her family and their energetic dog, Butter. Yes, Butter. You are welcome, Dr. Tiffany Mims.
All right, let's see here. Okay, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
All right. Good morning, everyone. So excited to see so many people coming out today. This is wonderful. This, when I show up to spaces like this and the community comes out in these numbers, it's just confirmation of the work that I do and the importance of supporting Black women. So, not an employee in the federal government, but so much of my work has been supporting women leaders, entrepreneurs, and women sort of, transitioning, through their employment journey. And so I just am excited to be part of this conversation and hope that I can provide some words of encouragement. So thank you.
Our next speaker is Will Need Duger. Will Need is an HR consultant dedicated to delivering measurable results. She empowers small businesses with foundational HR support and strategic solutions, while also helping veterans and entrepreneurs thrive through expert resume review, interview training, compensation negotiations, and career coaching. As a seasoned HR strategist and former military veteran, she brings over a decade of leadership in designing and executing business-aligned HR initiatives across diverse industries. She has spearheaded transformative strategies that boost HR efficiency, enhance team productivity, and elevate employee satisfaction. With a proven track record in regulatory compliance, operational streamlining, and talent acquisition and retention, Will Need is passionate about building dynamic, engaged teams that drive business success. You all welcome Will Need to the stage.
Good morning, everyone. I'm so glad to be amongst you all. I am so excited. I'm encouraged, and thank you so much for having me. Looking forward to, looking forward to networking with you all and seeing how I can best support you.
Welcome, Will Need. So our last speaker, and certainly not least, my Sora, DST, Lucretia Townsend. She is a certified professional coactive coach, personal finance coach, and passionate advocate for women's financial empowerment. After overcoming divorce, bankruptcy, and unemployment as a single mom, Lucretia mastered money management and turned adversity into abundance. With a BS in business administration and a minor in marketing from Kentucky State University, and both in BS in personal finance and an MBA from Franklin University, Lucretia combines personal experience with professional expertise, guiding women from financial uncertainty to lasting wealth. Her message is clear. Financial freedom begins with mindset, intentional action, and writing your vision. You all welcome Lucretia to the stage.
Hello, ladies. Thanks for having me, Daisy. I'm excited to be here as well as the other panelists. It's exciting to know that so many of you are coming out on a Saturday morning to get more information. You are investing in yourselves and trying to make the next best step. And I'm happy to be here with you.
Thank you. Welcome, Lucretia. So, ladies, thank you all for being on this panel. I know you're going to drop some valuable insight. I don't want to hold it up, so we're all going to get started. But before we do, remember you guys to write your questions down, or you can also drop them in the chat, because after we are done with the panel discussion, we'll come back and we'll do a question and answer. We'll answer some of your questions, some of the things that you may have that you want answers to. So without further ado, we're going to get started. So my question, and I'll direct this to you to start, Dr. Felton. What inspired you to transition from federal service or corporate America into business or leadership?
That's a good question, Daisy. And so first of all, I'm one of those people where I did the 30 and they said, you got to go. So I, knowing that that was the case, I had already planned that transition plan. And I think that's so very important. And so I had the opportunity to retire, as you will see in the booklet, at Columbus Air Force Base as the command chief. And so what I realized was that there was so much more beyond the badge. And I love that phrase. And so I recognized that all of that was connected to leading. And we all know that we have so many skills. There's no doubt in my mind that every single woman on this platform today know that you are filled with so many gifts and talents that you're able to give. And I was one of those people that I wanted to become a first sergeant. And for those of you that are not familiar with that, that's the person that works directly for the commander, and you provide him with a ready force. You make sure that people are taken care of, and that's what I was good at, and I knew that that was the job for me. And so when I got ready to pivot, I was kind of floundering a little bit because I'm like, okay, what am I going to do? And I was realizing that that was my heart and that was my passion, that I wanted to help take care of others. And so I already knew that it was going to be something in the line of coaching or on leadership. And that's exactly what I did. And so what inspired me to go ahead and go to the next level was realizing that I also wanted to buy back my own time. I wanted to redeem my own time back and work for Rita. And so now I'm in a place where I am blissfully happy working and doing the work that I would love to do. And that's just being an advocate for the kingdom. And so that is my transition point. And so I realized my military foundation, it gave me the discipline and the resiliency and a strategic mindset that I needed. I already had all of these things. And so for my heart for ministry and coaching, it gave me the compassion and the clarity to continue to lead. And so that is what inspired me when I transitioned, was to continue into leadership and to coaching and business, because I already had the skills and the skill sets. And so that's what we're going to hear from all the ladies today. They're qualified, and so are you. Thank you, Daisy.
Thank you so much. Yes, everybody's so qualified. Any of you other ladies would like to respond to that question?
I'll take a stab. So what inspired me to transition? I transitioned, retired out of the Army during COVID. And it wasn't the ideal time, but we didn't know that, right? We didn't know the world was coming to an end at one point, right? So transitioning during COVID, the biggest thing I had to really figure out is what's going to happen to me and my family, right? Like what's happening in the world, I don't know. And as most of you all know, transitioning from the military, it's pretty scary, right? Because you're going from absolute security to nothing at all. And how do you navigate that? But what I did have was knowing that the military instilled so much in me, invested so much in me. They gave me what I needed. I just needed to go out and take a chance on myself. And I knew I had everything I needed. Really, it's just doing a good bit of my work. So in knowing that I wanted to be able to control this next chapter of my life. For 20 years, they told us what to do, when to do it, how to do it. And post military service, I wanted to be, the CEO of my life. I want to control how I do it, when I do it, and really focus in what matters most to me.
Absolutely amazing. Thank you so much for that. And so while you're there, we'll need actually the second question I would love for you to start with. What was the hardest part of making the shift and how did you overcome that?
Sorry, I was muted. Okay, the hardest part of making the transition or any transition is the mind work, is the fear. We all know that we have the gifts in us. We're born with them, we're blessed with them, right? It's once you tackle that fear, then you unlock all kinds of possibilities. So for me, it was just really getting my mind right? Understanding that, okay, I have to give myself a lot of grace because God gives me a lot of grace every day. So who am I to hold myself and allow fear to cripple me? So I already know I have it. Let me just encourage myself. Every day I would get up and get in the mirror and just like, I can do this. I really can. What do I want to do? How do I get there? Right? And just create an absolute roadmap that gave me the confidence to know that, okay, I can do this. And then you start to think, but what if I fail, right? Can I really do this? What if I do fall? What's gonna happen? Everybody's gonna think I'm a failure. Like, you're still consumed about the what ifs that you really don't take into account of the huge possibility getting past the what ifs. So what you fail, right? Burn it all down and start over. It's okay. Sometimes we don't have it all. It's not going to work out. You're going to have self-doubt. You're going to have people that doubt you, right? But just focusing on what really matters. What do you want at the end of the day? We are the architects of our lives, with the grace of God that he gives us every day. Take it and go. Take it and go. Knock fear down one step at a time. So that's really the hardest part of making the shift is overcoming your mindset and the fear.
Absolutely. I love that. Burn it all down and start over. I love that. Anyone else like to take a stab at that? Okay, so we will move on and Lucretia, I would love for you to start with this. What are the top three steps women should take when they're preparing for their next chapter?
Okay. The top three steps that women should do to prepare for the next chapter is the first thing you always do is assess what's going on, or in our case, reassess because we're already established. And we want to take a look at what do we have? And we're speaking in terms of finances. So you want to take an audit. You want to know what income you have coming in, what expenses you have going out, and you want to create something that is flexible. You want to make sure that your goals align with the life that you want to have. You don't want to be reactive, you want to be proactive. So if you're thinking to yourself, I may be one of the people that's getting cut, or I just kind of want to position myself to be in a better place because most of us make a really nice income. And it's not that we don't make the money, it's just that we need to figure out what we're doing with our money. And that, like I said, begins with reassessing. What do I have coming in? What do I have going out? And then once you take a look at that, you want to figure out
It smell
where
good.
can
No cookies.
I'm sorry.
Oh, I want to eat it. Just eat your hand. I
You
want
want to figure out where you can pull back if needed. Um, so one of the other things you want to do, number two, is you want to invest in yourself. And what I mean by invest in yourself, you want to invest in your personal growth. So you want to take a look at like plenty of, like Dr. Rita said, Dr. Duggar said, you want to look at what you have to offer. We are educated. We are more than able to start our own businesses or make extra income. You just want to see where you are in that lineup. So if you are looking to increase your income, or if you're looking to get, sorry about that, guys, I have muted myself by accident. If you're looking to gain other skill sets, now is the time to do it. Like there's no time than the present. Another thing, as far as investing in yourself or your personal growth, you could get a mentor. You can hire a coach. You just want to position yourself for whatever your next opportunity is. And if you don't know what that next opportunity is, take a time to sit around and kind of journal, like, what is it that you always wanted to do but didn't think you had time to do? You know, take a look at some of those things that gave you joy, because life is too short. And, you know, we're here today, gone tomorrow. We have all lost a lot during these last few years. And you don't want to spend your next years moving in fear and feeling afraid. So take the time to do the audit, take the time to create a plan that's aligned with the goals that you truly want out of life, and not something that somebody said might be a good idea. Is that it may not be for you. It's a good idea for them, but not for you. Look at your finances. If you can retire and you're looking to do that, by all means, retire and start your next process. You know, you might want to be a coach. Maybe you wanted to always open up a bakery. Maybe you wanted to, you know, watch kids so other women can, you know, go to work. Whatever it is, just take the time to figure those things out and start moving towards that.
Amazing. Yes, a 3-step process. So I hope you guys are taking notes. Anyone else would like to comment on that particular question?
I would just like to add that clarifying your vision, just like Lucretia was saying, and sometimes helping to clarify that vision is going to come with mirroring up with a coach or mentors, because that, like she said, that is so very important. And especially for us as women, a lot of times we undervalue that skill set to be able to align ourselves with someone that's really where we want to be. We know that. But when you don't, you kind of piecemeal that process. And so you want to clarify that vision before you get ready to pivot. And you should know what it clearly looks like, because otherwise someone else will define it for you, and you find yourself in another position or a job that's really wasn't aligned for you. And you won't be blissfully happy there.
If I can
I
add,
love that.
and if I can add also, for those that truly have no idea what you want to do, or what, you know, you're kind of lost. Dr. Felton is a certified DISC expert, right? Take some personality quizzes, right? Sometimes they help to define exactly what your natural talents and gifts are. If you're really truly lost, look up some DISC assessment that you can take, 16 personalities. There's so many tools out there to help you really identify really where your best skills align if you're really at a loss, or you're not sure where to go, how to go. And there's so many resources, free resources out there. Please take advantage of what's free, because sometimes starting off, capital is something that we typically don't have. Usually we Black women have to bootstrap our own businesses oftentimes. So there's so many free resources out there. YouTube University is one, but definitely where your investment should really go is finding a mentor that you're in alignment with, as they both shared. But definitely take advantage of the free resources too when you can.
Absolutely. I love that. I love it, love it, love it, love it. Want to be blissfully happy this second half. Yes, all of us do. Thank you thank you all for that. And clarifying your goal. So we'll start with you, Dr. Mims. How did you navigate fear, self-doubt, or imposter syndrome during your transition?
Well, can we just pause and just acknowledge like what we're already doing in this moment, right? Because this is a critical piece of navigating all the fears, the self-doubt, the uncertainty, right? The imposter syndrome that comes along with change and transition. So this right here, what we're doing is part of it, right? I don't know what you all are experiencing right now, but I'm forgetting that I'm on the panel and I'm just listening to what everybody else is saying. And the Daisy's like, "Do you have something to say?" I'm like, "Oh, wait, I'm supposed," but I'm just taking this in because this is part of how we navigate this journey, right? So I often talk to people about three things, right? Name it, normalize it, and neutralize it, right? So sometimes I think it's challenging for us, particularly as Black women who sort of feel like we have to hold it all together, we have to know everything. It's hard for us to share those vulnerable parts, right? When we're afraid, when we don't know, when we don't have a plan. And so for us to just acknowledge it, say, yeah, this is different. I'm stepping out on faith. I'm doing something that maybe people don't understand. They're not encouraging me. They're saying, stay with your good government job, right? And be secure. So, right, so we can just name it. We can just acknowledge it, right? Because then we can actually do something with it, right? Or do something about it, right? And then we talk about normalize it. So then sometimes when we sort of acknowledge or notice that we're feeling different things, we want to get rid of it. We want to push it away. We say, "Oh, you shouldn't feel that way. That's silly." No, we're human, right? Can Black women be human? Can we have vulnerable emotions, right? And thoughts? We can, and that's okay, right? And that's what groups like this, spaces like this, allow us, right, to see and to have permission to feel what we feel, right? So it's okay, right? The insecurity, the self-doubt, it's part of the process, okay? And then to neutralize it, right? Because we don't want to just live in that fear. We can acknowledge it, but we don't need to stay stuck in it. We neutralize it by one, being in spaces like this that say, "No, girl, you're good. You're good. Keep moving forward. You got this," right? It dials it down a little bit, right? So that it's more manageable so we can take the steps and the action that we want to do, right? Um, Another way to neutralize the fears and the insecurities is by taking action. Feel the fear and do it anyways, right? The more action we take, whether it's small steps or big steps, right? No matter what action we take, it again, it dials it down. It dials down the fear, right? The more we do it, the more comfortable we become, the stronger we get, right? So we continue to take the action. And I guess the last thing I'll say is about, progress over perfection, right? We sometimes think that we need to, our first, step out the gate, it should be done, it should be perfect, we should have, great reviews, everybody showing up. It usually doesn't work that way, right? If it worked that way the first time, it may not happen that way the second time, and that's okay. It's the progress, it's the journey, it's the one foot in front of the other, right? So those are some of the things that I have found helpful for my process, and that I often use with the women that I work with as well.
I love it. It is the journey. It is the journey. It's the journey. It's the journey. Name it, normalize it, neutralize it. Anyone else would like to add to that powerful response?
Yes. Imposter syndrome, right? We've all experienced it. And oftentimes it's not, no one notices it except for us, right? We already have the gifts. People see our gifts when we walk in the room, but we don't walk in that confidence because of imposter syndrome. Don't allow that to be a limiting factor in your success and what the plans that you're creating for yourself in your life. Push through it. Like Dr. Mem said, push through the fear. Once you get on the other side, it is so gravy on the other side. And so just push through it. It's just a feeling. Push through it.
I love that gravy.
Can I add as well?
Yeah.
Daisy?
Yes.
One of the things I wanted to say is Tiffany, Dr. Mims mentioned just doing things in spite of fear. And I'm sure everybody on this panel has mentioned it. And I promise you, every time that you move in faith over the fear, it is amazing how confident you begin to feel. So each time you take an action, you'll get better. And like she said, it does not have to be perfect. You don't want it perfect. Just put it out there. Put it out there, and then you'll feel like, oh, okay, well, I can do this. It went perfect, but next time I'm gonna make this adjustment. and it'll be better. You just got to keep going with the small steps, whatever those small steps are for you. And I promise you'll get more confident. Your imposter syndrome will start to fall away, and then more of you will shine through. And again, most of the people, we don't even know that you're an imposter. When you show up, we think you are amazingly great. We have no idea what happened the morning before you got started. You're looking good, you're moving good, you sound amazing, you're clearly educated, as most of us are anyway. We have so many degrees, we can give some folks a couple of degrees. You are more than enough. You are complete and whole as you are. That's all I wanted to add to that.
I
I'll
love
add one
that.
more thing. Clearly, we all have a lot to say about this topic, right? But I mean, consider the alternative, right? If we let fear take over, what is the alternative, right? That's not an option. That's not an option to stay stuck in our fear, because what it does is it robs us of the opportunity, right,
Right.
to see how great we are, right, and to live out our dreams and our goals and contribute in more and new and unique and creative ways, right? So we don't want to rob ourselves of that. We don't want to rob the world from that, right? So the alternative to sit in the fear, I'm not choosing that route, right? And I encourage others, right? Yeah, like Dr. LaTanya said, we got to keep moving, right, for us and for those around us.
Yeah, and Daisy, this one last thing. I think all of us, as you can see, we know that this is real and this is what we go through. And for us to be on this platform today, you know, these are things that we also had to battle with. And so, you know, we all heard that acronym, you know, fears that, false, that, that is appearing real, false evidence appearing real. But I want to do a reframe today when we think about that fear and trying to navigate through it. It is really to understand that when you feel that fear, it's a sign. It is an opportunity. Like Tiffany said, it's a sign that there is opportunity on the other side. So reframe fear as a sign. Hey, I have an opportunity to grow. I'm not failing. I have an opportunity to grow.
Opportunity to grow. I absolutely love that. Absolutely love that. Love you guys' response to that question so much. It was layered in so many things. Yes, I love that. Yes, people are waiting for what you have. Love that. Thank you, Lucretia. And as you, we'll go back to you with that is what financial strategies help you prepare for entrepreneurship or a career pivot? How can we help the ladies with that?
Okay, so I'll use myself as an example. When I decided that I made the decision before COVID happened that I was going to start my business after my kids left for school. The first one left for school in 2018, and the second one was leaving for college 2020. So we all know what happened in 2020. So I did not start the business, but what I did do was I started saving because pretty much everything was shut down. So money that I was spending, I wasn't really spending anymore. So I had a chance to save it. During that time, it was they started letting you do different things with your bills. So I chose not to pay my car note for 6 months. And what I did was I paid off other debt because the interest rate on a car note was way cheaper than the credit card debt. So I got really strategic about how I was handling my money a little more than I normally would. And then after those 6 months were up and I had paid off that other debt, I rolled it into paying off the vehicle. After the vehicle was paid off, the monthly amount that I would normally spend on my car note, I ended up putting aside for the business. So this is going into my business growth. So it was whether it was for doing a website, for my training. So that's how I handled some of the finances. So if you're looking to start your own business, I would recommend paying down credit card debt first. I would recommend paying off any loans. I would also recommend that you have money saved in your emergency fund and that you have 3 to 6 months, and I'm sure we've all heard this before, 3 to 6 months of expenses saved. Now, do you need all of that before you start? Absolutely not, but it will help you as you go. For me, I did not quit my job right away. I kept my job, and my job pretty much funded my business and my passion. So those are a few of the things that I did. And tell me the question one more time because I want to make sure I answered all of it, Daisy.
What financial strategies help you prepare for entrepreneurship or career pivot?
Okay. And so for career pivot, um, I have like a twofold. So it's starting the business, and a part of my coaching is also speaking engagements. And with the speaking engagements, I basically, this is the part where I'm considering it the pivot. I started taking classes. I hired a coach. I've been with my coach now for the last 2 years, and there has, you see like a monetary growth as you go, but I've seen more of a personal growth within me. The things that I'm able to do is help me become way more confident than it was when I first started. And I'm telling you, coaches can be challenging. And what I mean by challenging, they challenge you to break those barriers that you thought you couldn't do. And the very thing that's holding you back is the very thing that you need to break through. You need to do first. Like I had a issue with not wanting to do videos first. So this was one of my personal development things. Like, oh no, I don't want to be on video. Anything but video. I'll post with a picture all day long and tell everybody what they need to do. But a video, no. I'm not that girl. So 2 weeks ago, I was in LA with my business coach and I did a video. And the video is not long. We're talking 15, 30 seconds long. Did it, reluctantly did it, I might add. Posted the video. The video had over 980 views, over 120 something likes, and a gang of comments and loves, and about maybe 7 to 8 shares. So when I tell you moving through that fear, listening to what your coach or mentor is offering you and doing it anyway, and no, it wasn't perfect, but it worked, and it worked well. And when you move outside of yourself like that, you'll hear comments like, "Oh my God, you were so vulnerable. Like, I really appreciate your story, and it kind of mirrors mine." You don't know how many people are going through some of those same things that you are going through, and by you stepping out on the other side, you're pulling along those other people to step on the other side with you. So I hope that that helps some. And if you want to ask a clarifying question later, that's fine.
I absolutely love that. Absolutely love that. Move through the fear and on the other side of yourself. I absolutely love that. So amazing. Anyone else like to add to that question? All
Just
right. Go
a
ahead. I'm sorry.
tidbit, Daisy. Um, as far as finances go, really, if you can take a look at what it would cost to run your business, have an idea what it costs to run your business, not in a scarcity state, but fully operational, fully sustainable. What does that cost? Right. And oftentimes we're affiliated with banks and brokerage firms. They offer resources that we don't tap into, right? Tap into the free resources within the institution that you're already a part of, right? If they offer financial planning or financial advice as part of you being a member of that organization, please take advantage of it. If you understand what your business costs, then you know how to really create opportunities where you would be challenged. And also, if you have the capability, which we do, network with people to help you with grants, right? Look into your Chamber of Commerce, seeing where I'm all about free resources. Let me tap into free 99 first before I have to spend money where, because it gets tight for us all if we're going to be honest about it from time to time. But really taking an inventory of all the organization that you're a part of. What free resources do they offer? How can I supplement some of those resources into my business, right? And within your own network, if you know friends that have opportunities that you can leverage with marketing, graphics, or whatever it may be, or even teach you about social media, that's something that you don't have to pay for, and that money that you have, you can spend elsewhere. So just tip it.
Awesome.
Absolutely. Thank you. That's so amazing. So we're going to go back to Dr. Felton with this one. What leadership lessons from your federal experience or corporate experience have been most valuable in your new journey?
Okay, thank you, Daisy. When you first started, Daisy, you said something very good. You said, get what you came for, so that you could soar, get what you came for. And so that's one of the things, when I started the journey in the military and I knew what I was going for. And actually for me, it was education, needed money for that. And so that helped me to align the rest of my career with getting what I came for. And when I left, it was more than I came for, and that's what the environment that we want to have. But the leadership lessons that I've learned, from my federal experience that has been most helpful in my journey is people first and purpose always, right? So in the military, I learned how to lead in pressure-filled environments, how to serve with integrity, how to speak life and strength into people when they needed it the most. I also learned that leadership isn't about being the loudest in the room, but it's about being the most intentional. And today, when I bring that same kind of focus into my own business, into my coaching practice, and so I emphasize clarity of the mission, being authentic with yourself, and being able to. Sometimes we got to be authentic in our communication with ourselves and leading from a place of service. And so I've always learned that the best leaders are the ones who keep growing. And that's what every one of us are advocating today, is that this journey that we're on is a continuous growth opportunity. And whether through its coaching, speaking, or developing, leadership programs, I've always taken the structure of what I've learned in the federal service and I infused it with faith and vision to empower others to lead well and to live well also. And so I'm one of those people that have been truly, truly blessed when I tell you that I've gone through my whole career from a ministry and from a faith-based mindset. That would be me. And so those are the lessons that I've learned and was able to put back and impart those pieces back into the lives of others. And that's why I continue to enjoy the life that I live now. Thank you, Daisy.
Absolutely love that. Thank you so much. Anyone would like to add to that question? Well, good. We'll
I
go
like
back.
what,
Okay.
yeah, I like what you were saying about, leadership can look a lot of different ways, right? Yes, like you said, it doesn't have to be the loudest person in the room. That's usually a sign of a weak leader, honestly, right? The leader really should be one who's kind of supporting everyone in the growth and the vision. So I just always encourage people to really take the time to think through what it means for you to be a leader, right? And how you want to show up, right? Because how you show up, whether it's in words or your actions, right? That's the message that people are going to get, right? And so to be intentional about who you are as a leader, how you want to lead, and how you want that message to be, and then to be consistent with that, right? We don't have to adopt the leadership model that have been put out there for us, because oftentimes they don't really reflect us, right, as Black women. So we can define who we want to be as leaders.
I love that. Thank you, Dr. Mims. And while we're with you, how can women position themselves as thought leaders or experts in their new industry?
Yes, love this question. This is one that I particularly struggled with for a little bit, because oftentimes we start with comparison, right? We look at other people first, and then we're like, "Ooh, I don't speak like that person. I don't look like that person. Oh, they know more than I do, or they've done more," right? Let's not start there. Let's not start with comparing ourselves to other people, right? How about instead we own our expertise, right? That we are all experts on our experience, on what we've done, right? And we have a lot to contribute to other folks, right? So when we shift from comparison to owning our own expertise, it starts with taking inventory on all that we have to offer. Okay. So what is it that you know? What do you know? You know a lot, whether you have tapped into that or not. You know a few things, right? Write those things down. What is it that I know from what I have done, from what I have lived through, right? How I think, how I show up in the world, right? All of those things are your expertise. right? If you have a hard time identifying those things, show up to a group of folks that love you and support you. That's key, right? Folks that love you and support you, and ask them, right? What do you appreciate about our relationships? What are some of the things that you've seen in me that you think the rest of the world, right, needs to hear about and would benefit from, right? What are some of the things that I've done that add value to your life, that have contributed to your happiness? Ask people around you, right? And those folks that love and support you, I mean, they've been waiting for you to ask that question, right? Give them the opportunity to tell you how amazing you are, right? And then run with it, right? Write it down, add your own juice to it, add your own sauce to it, right? Because these are all the things that are your expertise. And then the other thing is to then share it, share your expertise, okay? One of the things that I struggled with was, people talk about, posting and being visible and that sort of stuff. And I'm like, ooh, that's uncomfortable. I don't like social media. But when someone gave me this idea that, sharing is of service, right? Sharing my expertise is a way that I can serve other Black women. I'm like, oh, all right, let's do this, right? So if we can reframe what that means to be an expert, but someone who's actually, giving back to the Black women, that's my, my community, that just kind of put me in a whole different, mindset to share my expertise, right? And then the last thing I'll say is, we can have fun with this too, right? Have fun, be creative, think about the unique things about you that add to, to the field, right, of experts, and do it in your way and enjoy it. Those are some of the thoughts that I had.
All right. Anyone else like to add to these gems that's being dropped? Drop the word gems in the chat. If you guys are getting something, drop gems in the chat. Yes. Loving it, loving it, loving it. Yes, they are dropping them. They're dropping them. I hope you guys are picking them up. Hope you guys are picking them up. All right, so let's go back to Will Need with this question. Like, what networking and relationship building strategies help you grow your business or career opportunities?
Sure. So I would say serve before you sell. Serve before you sell. Before seeking help or trying to pitch a service, offer value first, right? Share insights. You can make thoughtful introductions or provide feedback to someone, to an organization, or to a business, right? People often remember how you made them feel, and they also always remember how you helped them. So that's what I would say as far as relationship building. And as the networking piece, networking, I know sometimes it's challenging for people and they think of it, oh my God, I'm not an extrovert. I don't want to be around people. Lord, no. But networking is not about being social. It's really about survival, right? The right connections will open the doors that your skills alone can't. So it's absolutely about survival and getting yourself out there. I encourage you to put yourself out there. You can attend conferences, workshops, join mastermind groups, professional associations, your local business, small business gatherings, right? Chamber of Commerce. I'm a big component. I preach a Chamber of Commerce because once I got exposed, I was like, oh man, there's so much here. I didn't even know. I wonder who doesn't know, right? So take advantage of anyone that you meet, right? Sometimes it's not really about pitching, but just making that absolute connection. What came out for a lot of people post-COVID, well, during COVID, was the loneliness epidemic, right? People kind of lost connections along the way. So kind of put yourself out there, because you just never know one conversation that you have with someone, how it will change their life, and in turn, it changes your life. So don't think of it as, oh, I hate being out there. Oh, I don't like people. Nah, we all need human connections. So just really take advantage of that.
Wow, this conversation, you guys, this conversation is priceless. We should have paid for this, right? This conversation is priceless. Oh my God. It has been amazing so far. Anyone else who would like to add to networking and relationship building?
I'm
Come
s-
on back, we'll need. Yes.
yes, one thing. Ariel Wesley in the comments, and she said she's going to make to think of her elevator pitch, right? So if you're transitioning into a new position or you're looking to transition into a new position, elevator pitches are critical. If you can really hone in on what solutions to a business or position's problem, if you can solve what the problem is, bring the solution, that's always the key to your elevator pitch. What problem can you solve for a business? What problem can you solve for a position? Work on that. Be confident in it and just really do your research. Everyone has a problem that they're looking for someone to help them solve. If you can be that key and that bridge, it will open all kinds of doors for you.
Absolutely. I love that. Anyone else would like to add to that?
Yeah. I mean, another way to think about networking too is, looking for, who can help me and who can I help as well, right? And you'd be surprised at how many people are looking for people to help, right? And who want to help you, right? But again, sometimes I think about like, what is the alternative if we don't take the action, right? Then we miss out on opportunities, and networking is part of that. So if we don't network, we don't find out who wants to help us and who we can help, right? When Daisy, reached out, to me, and I'm sure the rest of you feel the same, but when Daisy reached out, hey, you want to be on this panel? Yes, right? What can we do? How can we help, right? But this wouldn't have happened if Daisy didn't take that risk, just to ask, right? And then we wouldn't have had that opportunity to be here with all of you, today. So that's just another thought.
And sometimes all you need is one yes to get you going. You'll get 100 no's. Don't let that stop you. All you need is one yes.
Yep. I would like to add just ditto everything that both ladies said 100%. And try to think of it as, I like the serve before you sell. Absolutely. I love adding value. And the other thing is don't think of networking as a chore. Just think of it as an opportunity. You're looking for opportunities to help someone else, and in helping someone else, you are also helping yourself. It's just a short reframe.
Absolutely love this conversation. And I, for one, that is a big one for me. I always share before I sell. Always, always, always. I don't care what environment I'm in. So I absolutely love that. Absolutely love how this conversation is going. And I know it's bringing a lots of value for you all as well. Love that question. I didn't realize I had that question. Love that question because I love the responses to that. That's been amazing. We'll go back to Dr. Felton with this question here. What are the biggest mistakes women make when they're transitioning from federal service or corporate America? And how can they avoid them?
Okay. Thank you, Daisy. One of the biggest mistakes I see is women really underestimating their value outside of that uniform or that corporate title. And so in our minds, we kind of been conditioned to believe our work is tied to that rank, that position, or the amount of years of service that we've had. But the truth is, your experience is your equity. And that's what we've all been talking about here today. We really have to learn how to take stock in our experience. And sometimes, those, even with when we have our education, we have those years of service and all of that. But what people are really buying into, they're buying into you, and they're buying into the equity of the experience that you had. Because how often would you want to follow someone, right, if you know that they haven't walked in your shoes or they don't know the journey that you've been on? But if you come up to me and you talk my language, you talk my lingo, then, then I know that you can identify with my pain points. And if you can identify with my pain points, then you can also, you got a solution that you're going to be able to help me with. So that's what I'm looking for, and even when I'm looking for coaches and my mentors, I'm looking for someone they've already went through the mud and did the wet noodle experiment, and they came out on the other side, because they're going to help me to get where I need to go a lot faster. Another common pitfall that I found is that we try to replicate a structured system that we were in an unstructured season of our life, meaning that we got to change our minds. We got to acknowledge that we are in this unknown territory, and we get to do the rules. Isn't that exciting? We get to remap. And so we can do that without giving ourselves, we got to give ourselves the grace to grow into a new rhythm. And we know we like to dance. We like to, hey, that's our new rhythm. We get to do that. And so transitioning is just not about changing the jobs. It's about shifting that identity to who you want to be, right? Outside of that position or that rank or that years of service. Okay, so a couple of ways really quick on how you can avoid those mistakes. First of all, you need to embrace the clarity over comfort. Embrace the clarity over the comfort. Take time to reconnect with who you are and what you truly want to do. And sometimes, I have to do a Rita, or the Rita experience. And those are one of the things that I help people, and it's rise above the adversity, right? And so that's Rita experience. And I had to do that. And I had to embrace that even when it wasn't comfortable for me. The next thing is that you have to invest in the mentorship of the coaching. And I don't care where you are in life, you're going to need to align with someone, because life wasn't meant to be done alone. That's not how it works. So don't try to figure out by yourself. Somebody have already got the path, right? And then lead with faith, not with fear. And that's one of the things that is in the book also, is that, fear over faith. And so God didn't bring you to, this far and gave you all of these skill sets, and you going, oh, but I can't. No, trust your skills, trust yourself. You got a story that goes behind it. And how many times have I been out and I tell people, and we don't look like what we've been through. We don't look like what we've been through. And so we need to pour that foundation. We need to pour that out, because that's the foundation of youth right there. That's something that we all got that we can share. And so take it from there. So embrace your clarity over the comfort, invest in that mentorship or coaching, lead with faith, not with fear. And I tell you, transition is not the end. It's a divine invitation to accentuate your life and to live your best life. Blissful. Okay.
Dr. Phil, like, what is happening up in here? Did we just roll up into a server? Like, what is going on? Yes, drop the mic.
Yeah.
I gotta have you repeat what you said. What did you say? Try not to replicate.
Yeah,
Oh
don't
my
try to
God.
replicate, a structured system in an unstructured season.
Oh my God.
Yes, this
That's
a new
it,
season.
y'all. That's it for the day.
A whole
That is
sermon.
it. Oh my God, that's a whole sermon. Yes. Amazing. Okay, let me pull myself back together. That's so good. That's so good. That is so good. So before we close out this portion, I have one other question that I would love all of you ladies to give your opinion on this and your advice. Like what's one piece of advice you give to women leaders who are hesitant to make the leap into something new? And we could start with whoever would like to start. Yes.
I'll just go ahead and wrap mine up. So one piece of advice that I would like to give all of you here today, and I'm so proud of every one of you taking the time out on this Saturday to come out and be part of this. And so my piece of advice is, don't do it afraid, but do it with faith. God doesn't call the equipped, he equips the called. So if there's a tug on your heart, it's not random. It's a divine appointment that you have. You don't need to have it all figured out to start. You just need to believe that what's in you is greater than what's behind you. And your next chapter isn't a risk, it's a revelation of who you are becoming. So trust God, trust the training, and take the leap. It's time to stop playing it small. It's time, like as Daisy would say, it's time to soar. Amen. That is it for me today.
Yeah, so I think I would say, and I think there's going to be a theme here, so pay attention, right? Do it. Right? Everyone's going to say, do it, right? But I'll add, do it with courage and compassion, right? So courage, right, is basically doing something even when we're afraid, right? You can't demonstrate courage if something is easy. That's not the definition of courage, right? So do it with the sense of, yeah, this is going to be hard and scary, right? But I'm going to choose courage in this journey. And that compassion, which sometimes Black women forget, right? To be kind to yourself, right? Be loving to yourself, support yourself along the journey.
Advice I would give is to know the gift is already in you. The gift is already in you. You already have everything that you need. What's holding you back?
Right.
And push through whatever it is that's holding you back. You are, if you choose to not operate in your gift, you are depriving the world of what God has put out. So that's what I would, my last bit.
Okay, I put a part of mine in the chat. We are not waiting for permission. We are writing our next chapter with power and purpose. Your clarity will create freedom. Your discipline builds confidence. And your money, it becomes a tool, not a barrier.
Baby. I know you guys have gotten some from this conversation. I got to go back and watch this conversation. I wrote some stuff. I'm all over my paper. Share before you sell. People first. Purpose always. I'm gonna get that replicate the system thing, Dr. Felton. That got me there. Underestimating your value, your experiences, your equity. More move through the fear outside of yourself. I love that. Name it, normalize it, neutralize it. All of these beautiful, beautiful gems that you guys that they have dropped up in here already so far. So what I would love to do right now is you go ahead and raise your virtual hand or drop in the chat your questions. This is the moment. Get what you came for. Whatever's on your heart, whatever question you want to ask these ladies, this is the moment. So let's just go ahead and do that. All of us are probably in transition. That's probably why we're here, or we're thinking about transition, or we know somebody in transition. So let's go ahead and get what we need from these ladies. So you raise your hand and you can unmute and ask your question. Let's see any. Let's see if I'll look for some questions in the chat as well. Okay, I see a raised hand here. Katerina. You can unmute. Go ahead with your question. Is it okay?
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Awesome. I want you to know that every analyst was powerful. And I'm like Miss Lucretia, I'm all over the place with my notes trying to take it. So I hope I can get this recording. But my first question is, I need a mentor. Who can be my mentor to move into the right direction and to get my skill set that I have and help to define what I already know moving forward to get me in a position to where I want to be my own boss.
Mm-hmm. Yep, just Put your email in the chat, please. Thank you.
So do you have other questions, or you want to go deeper in that question? Love to hear more.
There's a question in the chat about who offers coaching, Daisy.
As well.
All the ladies on here offer coaching. So it depends on the type of coaching that you want. And so in just a little bit, we're going to have everyone talk about what free gifts they're going to give you all and what services they provide. And so that'll give you all some more clarity on exactly who you need to connect with. Hopefully that makes sense. Okay. Because all of us offer a different sort of mentorship or coaching. And so we'll clarify that in just a little bit. Okay. What other questions? Does anyone else have another question? They want to clarify some things? This is amazing. Well, we're not done. Don't leave. Yes, so we have another hand raise. Come on up. I think it's hello, Dr. Latanya. How are you?
Hello, ladies. Hello, everyone. I just want to say, it's just basically a comment, not necessarily a question. I just want to say thank you. Thank you so much because you all have poured off so much wisdom, some nuggets, just so much, and such a time as this. We all need this, and I just want to say thank you. I had the pleasure of meeting Daisy and working with her on one collaboration. And I just thought it not robbery in the haste of my busy day to just come on in. And I am so glad I did because, like so many people, I'm writing and writing all over, like, oh my God, oh my God. So I just want to thank you for being vulnerable, for teaching us. The other thing, I guess, one question I would ask as being transparent, can you tell us a lesson you've learned along your journey? Because sometimes we feel like when we see other people, we think, oh, they just got it made and stuff like that. See, there's a testimony because we've been tested, and everyone we have a story. And so, can each of you kind of tell us one area where you were in the storm, but you came through? Because on this journey of empowerment, Women History Month, on this journey of entrepreneurship, it is hard, but we got to stay in the game. And if I just want you to kind of tell, because sometimes we think the enemy, Dr. Felton, will how us to think that we're alone in doing this journey, but we need to hear that, hey, if they did that, and I know Lucretia, I think if I mispronounce your name, I know when they were reading over your information, your story, and sometimes the word says we overcome by that. So can you just talk a little bit about one challenge that you had and how you made it over, particularly in this day and age where we are being tried and challenged every day, but we still have to press on and don't believe the narrative that's coming out. Thank you.
Wow, I don't know where to start. So, my story happened, quick highlights, which you already heard. I had gotten married, moved to Michigan. I live in Ohio, had 2 kids. After the second kid was born, started to go downhill. So I ended up getting a divorce and moving from Michigan back home. I moved back in the house with my family. And when I first moved back, I didn't have a job. I had interviewed for a couple of jobs, but I hadn't gotten anything yet. And when we mentioned networking, I had a friend of mine, one of my best friend's cousins, called me and said, "Hey, the county is hiring case managers." And I was like, okay, didn't make a whole lot, did the interview. And it just so happens the day I went back to court, because although I was divorced, we had 2 kids. So we had a nice custody battle. And I was able to tell the judge once I got to court the day after, I just got a job opportunity in Columbus, Ohio. It pays, X amount of dollars. I will have insurance. And she granted me the permission to move back home because I couldn't leave. If I would have left Michigan without her permission, then I would have been abandoning the kids. So I moved back home, got a job. Great. So overcoming all of that, the job that I take, I start working, the job offers tuition reimbursement. So I ended up going back to school to get my personal. I added a bachelor's, but then I ended up getting the master's as well. So when things seem their darkest, because who wants to be, and I don't know if you guys are moms or if you've ever been divorced or if you have, kids or whatever, but having 2 little people depend on you. I mean, they were 2 and 3 when I got a divorce, and that was scary for me. So you're talking about starting over, one, raising kids on my own. And it's not necessarily that he wasn't a part of it. He was. It's just that I was the primary caregiver. So they spent weekends and summers with their dad. And then I had them during the school year. And not only do I have 2 small kids, I also have a little boy. I got a little boy and a little girl. And I'm sure the climate is rough for all of us, period. But for a little Black boy, it hit a little different when you're in a home with just mom. So that adversity taught me that family is important, because I leaned on them a lot. And of course, God first and foremost. And I was able to come back to my home church, which helped build community around my kids and around me, fixing my heart, fixing my mind, and helping me get my finances together was a real struggle. And out of everything I did with that, I created Seeds for Success coaching. I started with the mindset and the money practices, how to generate additional revenue other than just my job, because having one job, as you can see, can be detrimental to our health. We have to have different ways of having multiple incomes. And that is what I ended up learning how to do after all the mess ups that I made. And it is by the grace of God that I have been in programs. I invested in myself. Daisy and Tiffy and I are both in the same mastermind program. And this just goes to show you how networking helps us push the needle and move forward, and how Black women working together, how we can uplift each other, give each other an opportunity that we didn't have or wouldn't have on just our own. So I hope I answered your question. Did I hit all the highlight points?
Absolutely.
Okay, there's much more in there, but there's no need to unfold it all.
That's
Those
okay.
highlights
That's
are
okay.
a lot.
We overcome
Yes,
by
ma'am.
our testimony. We're the Lamb, and we overcome. Thank
Yep.
you.
I'll just add a little bit as well. I think for me, the biggest thing that I had to sort of work on, and honestly, so I started my private practice back in 2009, and then I expanded to the Rosetta Center in 2013. And I'm surprised that, that the business sustained this long, right? Because my business mindset and my money mindset were off. Right? Just non-existent, right? I was trained as a psychologist. They didn't teach us about, right, money and business, right? We were just simply there to help people at whatever cost, right? And so it wasn't until the past few years where I really started shifting my business and money mindset that I started seeing more, success in the business, and just starting to open up new opportunities for myself in terms of just balance and wellness, right? Because if you're not making the right business and money decisions in the business, then you're overworking, right? Because you're trying to make revenue goals, you're trying to pay the bills, you're trying to take care of the kids and all their, expenses. And so I was overworking because I wasn't making smart business decisions and money decisions. I was jumping at any sort of job opportunity that came to me. Oh, you want me to speak here? You want me to teach there? You want me to supervise there? Yes, 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 yes. And then just doing too much, right? And so even some of those things I enjoyed doing on some level, it was just too much, right? And it wasn't sustainable, and it wasn't going to allow the business to grow in the ways in which I wanted it to, and it was just wearing me down. So I really, with the help, of a coach, just helped shift my business and money mindset.
Yeah.
Lessons I wish I would have learned a long time ago, and I didn't, because oftentimes, right, I was afraid to ask, right? There's a part of it that you don't know what you don't know, but then there's another part, right, that's like, it's hard to talk about money. It's hard to talk about the intricacies of your business, right? But that was a huge detriment, for me. So ask, get the support, shift your business and your money mindset.
Yeah, and one of the things for me was just getting that clarity, which I talked about earlier, is trying to have the clarity of your vision before you pivot, because sometimes that is important. And I know when I first, when I retired, the plan was to start my own business. But then, with the imposter syndrome, I had all these different things going on. And even though I didn't want to admit that to myself, but then later on, I, look back, I'm like, yeah, that's kind of what was going on. So I jumped back in, did junior RTC. They needed someone there. So I said, okay, I'll do that. And so what that did was break my branding at the time, because I went back and put on a uniform. And then I jumped back in and did civil service. So then I did public affairs. And I was just like, you don't. And I know I didn't want the job. And they kept calling me, whether you want the job, you know the community. And like you said, if you don't know what you want and you don't have the clarity, you'll jump into something because somebody says, oh, that'll be good for you. You're good for that. Yeah, we're good. We can do a lot of stuff, but we got to get to doing the stuff that really brings, us joy from within, right? And so once I realized that, and literally one day I was walking out and I just was not happy, and I was pushing my way through, and it was just a mess. And even though I could do the job, that wasn't what I wanted. I walked out one day, and it's like the Lord, proverbial tap on the shoulders, like about face, go and resign from that job. And I felt really bad, because we don't want to let people down. We have problems letting people down. We want to see it through, And once I realized I had to do that, I went and did it. And once I did, I realized it was the right decision for me, because somebody else was waiting for that particular job, that wanted that job. And once I realized that, I jumped back in and I started, rebuilding and rebranding. And so sometimes that's what I'm saying. We got to know what it is that God has put on our heart to do. He hasn't called us to do everything. He hasn't called us to be assigned to everybody. And so we got to be prayerful in that, so that we can be effective, in what it is that he has called us to do. And so I agree with Dr. Tiffany. If that's, I just want to do what I do. I don't want to do all the operations, and I don't want to do all this other stuff. I just want to do what I do. And so, but I had to realize that I had to get some help and kind of, work my way through it. And so sometimes realizing that when you're trying to do entrepreneurship by yourself, it is hard because you're doing it by yourself. And it's people out there that got skills, and you might have to put money to the side to pay somebody to do some of this stuff. But when you're trying to teach yourself, and then you come to a snag, and now you got to go back and redo something, then you got to wait till you teach yourself something else. It you're wasting time. It's a lot of time gone. You're trying to get somewhere so you can enjoy what it is that you enjoy doing. So.
For me, burnout. I used to wear burnout as a badge of honor. Like, I don't know, maybe it made me feel like I accomplished something in some way, shape, or form. But burnout and often having to wear a mask in corporate space was my motivator, because I often felt like I had to, one, I'm usually the only dark one in the room, the dark-skinned one in the room, or the only Black person in the room. And having to operate in a space to make other people feel comfortable became exhausting. Having to make myself small, just to kind of fit into the narrative of the box that someone has created for me became a little bit too much for me. And I decided just one day, burnout, I was done. And not really having a backup plan, right? And just saying, I just know I can't do it. I just know I can't do it. I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, but today is it. Today's it. And just really just wanting to be able to control my life and what I want, right? Because I often try to take care of people and take everybody's needs comes before my own. And really pushing through and being selfish to be okay being selfish and that mindset for me is taking care of myself, knowing that taking care of myself is okay, allowing myself to feel like it's okay, and going out there. That's it. It wasn't an easy journey because what the military gave, all I knew as an adult was the military. Left high school, went straight in and transition out knowing nothing but the military, but just deciding to just take a chance. I didn't know the military before going in. It taught me so much. And so where I was going after the military into the corporate space, I didn't know that beast either, but that beast was a little bit more challenging than the military, just to be honest. So really, there's never an easy road for you, for any of us, right? There's never an easy road. We don't have anyone that's going to just hand us anything. We don't have opportunities or privileges that other people have. And what we do have is we have God, we have our giftings, and we have the family that we create for ourselves. And really relying on that is what's going to help, help you in whatever endeavors that you decide to go into. Be it, being an entrepreneur or just going into another career, pivoting into another career field, or just finding another position, really just knowing and being solid in what you have and what you bring, the equity that you are bringing to any organization or any business, I think is absolutely pivotal.
Daisy, can I just give one alibi on? And so one of the things, and I do a class on this because it's so very important, and especially for us as African American women, those of us that are married, it's a big deal. And so when you can align this next career with with your spouse, it really makes it a lot more enjoyable. Because when I first retired and after serving 30 years, my husband like, okay, you're going to come home, you're going to sit home, you're going to do this, and he deserves that. And so, but when you have that career mindset and you have the go that, I'm out here to serve, I got this passion, this is my calling. And so, and it wasn't, until I took that moment to realize that I was kind of pushing and going back and forth because I wanted to balance with him. And sometimes we're afraid of that success and what it might mean in those relationships because it matters. And so once, and when I got to the point where I said, I need for you to pray for me because I needed for him to understand what God had put on my heart to do. And it was to be a blessing. But at the same time, I needed him to be in alignment. So I had to pray, Lord, put in his heart and in his mind what you have for me. And once he gave me that prayer, I'm telling you, it just released, something off of me. And I'm just saying, for those that are in relationships, it does matter.
That's so good. That's so good because honestly, I had to do the exact same thing, Dr. Felton, and it gets released that way. It gets released that way. It's so good. I do see a question in here from Christine. It says, for those who may be at risk for a rift, what could we do financially to start a business, especially if we end up without that income?
Yeah.
So any of you guys could,
Yeah, I think that I know that you have some other things that you want to do, Daisy, but I do think that would be one of the questions where, we can, if she want to put her information in there. But I do think it's important if you can look for, one of the things that I love doing is kind of positioning people that, especially women that's going into business, to try to get them some finances up front where you can start thinking about what that looks like. And so there are some programs and some initiatives that are just for that. And once you can do that, if you can have enough to say, okay, but you're going to have to line out what it is that what you want to get accomplished and where you're trying to go. And so if it's just a job, then that's something else. But if you're trying to go into your own business, entrepreneurship, then that's something else and we can help with if you want to go that route.
The only thing I would add is I know that a lot of us gave Daisy's gifts to give to you. And one of my gifts was Wealth Made Simple, which is a workbook. And working through those steps will help you get clear about what do you want out of life, what are your goals are. It doesn't necessarily speak to if you're starting your own business, but there's a piece in there about getting the juices flowing, about like how you can earn extra income now, not later. And everyone on the call will get the gift. And if you work through that workbook, it should help position you as far as getting your mindset together and your money habits together, as well as putting a spending plan in place, a budget, along with debt reduction and some ways to protect your money.
thank you for that, Lucretia. And so while we're at it, I'm going to go ahead and because I see you guys have lots of questions about that, needing mentors and what to do next. And so I'm going to let the panelists go ahead and talk about their valuable resources that they have for you, how to contact them, and put their links and et cetera in the chat. They're also inside of the workbook, but I'm gonna go ahead and just let each one of them talk to you a little bit more about that. So, yes, and start with that.
I don't need to do that, do I? Because I kind of just said it. You
Yeah,
just
and
want
then
me to
you
repeat
can go
it?
ahead and put your links in the chat, your link in the
Okay.
chat for that, if you like, and then someone else um, can start with theirs, Dr. Tiffany or Dr. Mims or someone.
Okay, for mine, I'm giving away a 21-day devotional for aspiring entrepreneurs, and it speaks about faith over fear. And so it just help you to transition into a new venture when you're feeling uncertain, but you know that God has called you to do more. And so this 21 day, it kind of goes through, are you ready for entrepreneurship, to, defining your purpose and your vision, building kingdom confidence, overcoming the imposter syndrome, trusting God's provision. So all of these things are the ones that that we've already talked about today. And then at the end of that free booklet, what you'll find is a coaching offer for the summit attendees. And so it can kind of help you to transition to entrepreneurship, and also to give you the clarity and the confidence and the strategy that you need to build kingdom impact. And so it has some opportunities in there for you to purchase those items, but also at the bottom, you'll get a 15-minute consultation. So we'll know if we're a good fit. And that's one of the things as coaches, we have to make sure that we are a good fit for you. Like you said, and I think it was Dr. Mims, we all, are different, and everybody doesn't align up with the same mindset. And so having that person is so very important, especially if you want somebody to pour into you. So that would be mine, and I'm going to go ahead and put that in the chat as well. Thank you.
All right, this is your co-host. Your host stepped out for just a second, but Dr. Mims, if you would like to go next.
Sure. Yes. Okay. So the gift that I'm offering is 31 journal prompts to create your desired life, and it is, like I said, 31 different questions to sort of help you reflect, really, right? To start with that reflection that we all talked about was so important in terms of getting that clarity about, what it is that you really want and what your desires are in life. And then questions to start leading you towards what are the action steps that you need to take. And these journal prompts, I developed them based on the process that I have used in my own life when things were not quite how and where and how I wanted them to be, and things that sort of helped me move through that, right? And so starting with just checking in with, okay, how are you doing, right? How are you feeling, right? What are you noticing about what you are saying to yourself on a day-to-day basis, right? There's a time in my life where I found myself just saying, I'm so tired. I'm so tired. I'm so tired. Like that was my narrative over and over and over again, right? And so I had to kind of pause and reflect, like, wait a minute, is that what you want your message or your narrative to be every time you encounter somebody at the grocery store, right? And so kind of taking inventory on that and then asking the questions like, well, how is it that you want to feel? What do you want your narrative to be, right? And identifying that, right? And then questions about, okay, well, now that I've identified this, what are some of the shifts that I need to make in my life? What are some of the things that make it hard to make that shift, right? What support do I need? So a whole series of questions around helping us to get that clarity and take action steps to create the life that we desire. And then at the end of those, there's kind of a description about the coaching programs that I offer related to that. And I will find my link and I will put it in the chat.
My gift is for those that are transitioning into or trying to transition into a new role. I am offering complimentary one-on-one career coaching or even a leadership coaching sessions. And for those with that are venturing into entrepreneurship, I can offer services for your business, for people related aspects of your business. I'm going to drop my link in the chat. And yes.
Thank you, ladies. I really appreciate that. I really appreciate it. So also all of the way the social media connections for all the ladies are in the workbook, along with their links for their gifts are also in the workbook. And so right now, guys, there's a couple things before we let you go. I was gonna make you guys do an exercise here in the middle of everything, but we kind of went long. That's okay. But you got some homework. We're gonna have some homework for you. So in your workbook, it's something I typically do inside of my coaching program to ensure clients are, like really connecting with their why. Why are they doing it? Why have they started the certain business that they've started? Because they understand their why and their vision. And I know you all heard a lot about your why and your vision here in the session with these ladies. And so to take it a step further, what I really like for you to do is answer the 3 questions that I have in that workbook, and then go in there on that next page and do that vision exercise. And the reason you should do that exercise is because it actually forces you to talk about your vision in the present tense, as if it is already there and happening. And actually, what I want to do is show you a quick slide of my vision so you guys can get a better picture of what I'm talking about when I say go in there and write your vision and make it plain. You guys have heard that in many different spaces of how to do that. And so if you do that exercise, you will get a clear version of your vision and where you want to go. And I know Dr. Felton reiterated that a lot, of saying you can bounce around when you're not really clear about your vision, what you really want. And then once you write your vision, you're able to go back and actually create a really good plan around that vision. So this is my vision for 2025. I'm going to share it. I'm going to read it with you guys. This is my vision. I will be doing this. Wake up with peace and excitement, fully retired from the federal government, living life on my terms and building my legacy. I feel strong and I'm energized. I'm 20 pounds lighter. I've dropped the weight. I have prioritized my health and my well-being. My business is thriving. I'm a six-figure entrepreneur. I'm serving women just like you and making a lasting impact. People are seeking me out, and my work transforms lives. I travel freely. For those of you who know me, know I love to travel. I've already booked 2 or 3 trips. I'm embracing new experiences and spending lots of quality time with my family and friends every day. I'm not just that retiree. For those of you who are in Columbus, that's just going to be at Hardee's eating breakfast every morning with, that's a joke around us, but they know what I mean when I say that. I start my morning with meditation, spiritual reflection, and intentional learning, moving with purpose, confidence, and freedom, just the freedom over my own time and my own life. I'm thriving personally and professionally and spiritually, and my life is abundant, and I walk boldly into my next chapter with clarity and joy. So why do you need to create this for yourself? When you create this, now you can go back, for all of you federal employees, write those SMART goals of how you're going to get to the end of this, step by step, in 2025 and beyond. I encourage you to do this for your business. I encourage you to do this for your personal life as well. And then I encourage you to put it somewhere where you can see it every day, that you can refer back to it every day so you understand why you're doing what you're doing, and you are able to push through the uncomfortableness and fear that comes up when you're working towards your vision. For people who know me, who really know me, they know I'm not the limelight type person, but I do this and I come and I share because there is power in betting on yourself. And when I learn how to really bet on myself and really embrace that power about myself, I really am learning how to be my best me. I'm really learning how to be the best person that I can be. You know, after all of this time of me being in the federal government, all of this time of me sort of playing around with entrepreneurship, there's been times I've felt like really stuck. There's been times I felt like, I wasn't capable. There's been times I felt like, how can I do this? How can I transition from this to that? Even though I had even worked as a transition assistant manager for military people. I transitioned them out. And I was still questioning myself on how I'm going to get my transition right, you know? So it's one of those things you have to constantly work through. I didn't know how to take my body of work and make it marketable. I didn't know how to do that. And so that's where coaching comes in. That's where all of those things come in. Having a tribe around you, having accountability, having a vision that you could go back to, all comes in. And I know that this is on some of you guys' mind because it was on my mind. You think you're too old to start over. You think it's too late. You think, what am I going to do? I'm over this age, like I was, over 50, menopausal. Yes, there will be days I forgot, and then there'll be days I'm brilliant. So, it's okay. It
Right.
truly is okay. But I'm telling you, you already have everything you need to do the work. And an epiphany for me was to step out and allow other people to see me vulnerable. Allow other people to see that I needed them to help me along the way. To allow other people to know that I needed help. And I know Dr. Mills mentioned this. When you do that, the world will show up for you. When you do that, other people who are waiting to help you will show up for you. They will show up for you. And just like these other ladies, if you are interested in doing coaching with me, or think you might be interested in doing coaching with me, I do business coaching. I help take you from your idea to your launch. I have 10 calls available, 30-minute pivot blueprint calls. If you guys are interested in those type of calls, I'm going to also put my stuff in the chat there, but I really challenge you to go back, do the homework, create accountability around yourself, and actually use the gifts that have been given to you by these wonderful ladies. Everybody's going to get the replay. You're going to be able to take a look at this again and go through some of this to help you out in where you're trying to go. But before we go, I really want to know, what was your biggest takeaway from today? And any last minute questions? I want to know that. Let me know that in the chat. I'm watching you. Yes, for mine. What is your biggest takeaways from today? And any last minute questions? You can raise your hand. You can put it in the chat. That's to book a call with me. That we just put the link in the chat. But any last minute questions? Everybody feeling good? I need to hear some energy. Everybody feeling good? Everybody got what they came for? Everything was needed. Thank you. Reminder, this transition can be done. Awesome information. Hi, Tanisha. Good to have you in here. This was immensely valuable. I thank you. Feeling awesome and empowered. Hey, hey. Awesome information. Time to soar. D, you just made my day. It's a great morning. Amazing. Be intentional. Love it. Absolutely love it. Love it, love it, lady. Promise me that you guys are going to do this homework. The next chapter isn't a risk, but a revelation of what becoming, living blissfully. I love it. Made my morning. Wonderful summit. I was told that no one can hear my music, but I'm going to give it one more chance. On the way out the door, I want to thank the panel for all the beautiful things that they left with us today. They left it on the table for us all. Very good, very intentional in what they did. So I really want to thank them. If you guys would say thank you in the chat as well to the panel, they're wonderful. And I'm going to try to go out like a real Delta here. Are you guys hearing me?
You know I love music. And every time I hear something hot, it makes me want to move.